We live in an age of video games trying to be as rewarding as possible. And why shouldn't they? That's kind of the reason why we play games in the first place. Sure, you can bring out the old because it's fun argument, but you still have tons of people who play League of Legends, and finding a happy and mentally stable person who plays that game is like finding a four-leaf clover. No, people play it because of the grind and the process of the light at the end of the tunnel. And it's not just bad games that do it. A ton of great games do it as well. You do something good, and you'll be rewarded by the game. You play enough, and a level up is provided as a reward. If you do something impressive, well, that's its own reward. However, don't you think some games are overdoing it? Now, it may sound silly. How can you have too much of a good thing? Well, first of all, food is good, but you don't want too much of that. And second of all, let's talk about feedback for landing hits and killing an enemy. In multiplayer games, it is standard to have feedback for managing to hit the enemy. This serves other purposes than cheap instant gratification, as you need to know if you hit the enemy or not. There are many ways to do this, whether it be simple changes on the character model you're shooting, damage numbers appearing above the enemy, sounds that play on hit, what have you. However, the most popular form of this is hit markers, which is just putting another crosshair on your crosshair whenever you successfully shoot someone. This was another mechanic popularized by Call of Duty as basically every modern FPS to this day. It's certainly a fine mechanic, uninteresting, but still functional and very popular to this day. However, this alone isn't the problem. It's how it's usually layered among other forms of damage feedback. Let's look at Overwatch again, because despite everything, I still have more criticisms for this embarrassment of a game. Not only does Overwatch have hit markers, it also has health bars akin to a MOBA, which honestly fits better for the game in general. However, combine these two forms of feedback, you have more visual clutter in a game that already looks like an incomprehensible mess. Apex Legends is also another game that feels like it's worsened from the addition of hit markers, as it already has dead numbers and generally again, feels like a visual mess. With these games, you can cut out the hit markers and the game would instantly become more bearable to look at and overall would play better. One final example of hit markers being shoved into a game that doesn't really belong is Halo. In previous Halo games, damage would be indicated by the enemy's shield starting to shimmer. It wasn't a perfect system, but did the job well. However, 343 decided that taking mechanics from Call of Duty is a great idea, so naturally, hit markers were also put into the game. And when you combine these two mechanics with a new team machine, yeah, it's another visual mess. What the heck did any of you expect? However, it's not just hit markers that cause an oversaturation of feedback. Kills also seem to get a similar treatment. Kill feedback used to be simple. You shoot someone, and you kill them, and you would see your kill in the kill feed, maybe accompanied by a kill sound or even a medal if you did something special. Nowadays, we have a bunch of games that just flash a bunch of dumb stuff on your screen when getting a kill. The most obvious example of this is Valorant, where you get this medal appearing on your screen and a noticeable kill noise, and it's just... why? I mean, I get it. Some people just want more of that instant gratification, but it feels like it's too much, especially when compared to its competitor Counter-Strike, where the most you'll get is a headshot sound and a small visual change at the bottom of the HUD. Another example is, once again, Overwatch. It's not as great as Valorant is, but did you really need the flashing skull when you kill someone when there's already a notification of who you just eliminated? Again, it's just more fuel for the visual clutter fire. But that's enough of me being the draw of hero shooters being bad. Let's move on to another easy target. Call of Duty. The number of medals you can get for a regular kill is just unreal. If you want a good example of how absurd it can be, just watch this video by Video Game Donkey. It's funny, and it demonstrates my point very well. Now, it doesn't really cause too much visual noise, however, there's another problem with it that we'll get into later. Let's go back to Halo Infinite, which doesn't have a problem with visual noise, but rather actual noise. I'm not going to sugarcoat it, the AI announcers are just annoying in general. We already have a regular announcer just has a good job of announcing cool stuff you did. Why do we need this Borderlands character chattering in our ear? And they also announce where the weapons are. So if you want to ditch them, enjoy the tactical disadvantage against everyone who is sweating 9mm bullets. But this is all small stuff in terms of rewards. How are we going into progression systems? Well, it can be said that a lot of modern games over-reward you in terms of regular tasks. As for long-term progression, that simply isn't the case. The most infamous example of this is once again Overwatch 2, as the game was heavily criticized for removing the previous progression system and removing level borders and loot boxes. These seem like small things, but believe it or not, people care about being properly rewarded for their dedication to the game. This is why battle passes are so popular despite the complaints, as they give the player something to work for. And take it from me, it works. Despite how poor Valorant's progression system can seem compared to other games, it was one of the main reasons it managed to keep me in its clutches before my computer's poor performance stopped me from playing it, which in retrospect was a blessing in disguise. But you read the title of this video. We're not talking about progression systems giving you too little, we're talking about progression systems giving you too much. Enter Fortnite, one of those popular and influential games on the market. Why is it so popular? There are many reasons, but one of the main ways Fortnite has taken over the world is its revolutionary progression system. It basically invented the Battle Pass, and arguably has the one that gives the best value for its price. And it isn't stingy of how fast you can go through it, unlike Valorant, as Fortnite has plenty of different ways to gain EXP. While Valorant requires you to burn through a ton of time to complete its challenges, Fortnite gives you XP for simply existing. That's not much of an exaggeration. You get extra XP for going to new locations, for getting enough damage from certain weapons, for the hefty number of daily challenges, and for extra pre-selected challenges at the start of the game, that I probably missed a ton more. Now this is commendable compared to a lot of modern games. Rather than force you to turn the games into your new jobs, Fortnite is a lot more generous. However, this leads into another problem of how satisfying the feedback is, and this is where we're going to go back to the COD example. The main thing these two games have in common are feedback systems of medals and XP respectively. If you have too much of something, it effectively becomes meaningless. It's a natural rule that having more something devalues it. Just look at how the Weimar Republic tried to solve its monetary crisis by printing more money, only to dig itself into a deeper grave. If you get a bunch of medals all the time in Call of Duty, what's the point? It's no longer impressive. You're just getting rewarded for doing the bare minimum, and the allure fades. This is less of a problem in Fortnite, as getting XP ends up giving you more levels on the Battle Pass, but you still have problem rating in moment-to-moment gameplay. It may start to be exciting to see all the stimuli for doing certain tasks, but eventually, it becomes mere background noise. Another thing to consider is what happens after you complete the Battle Pass. What do you have left? There are no levels to show off like in previous games, so where are all that XP going now? Nowhere. It's all just meaningless at that point. And while the grind may have been fun while it lasted, there's nowhere really to go except for to wait for the next Battle Pass. Am I saying that these games should try to deprive the players of rewards? No, as there's a balance to be had between giving the players rewards, but also having the restraint to not give too much. And one game has a reward system that not only doesn't try to overload the player with stimulus, but also provides adequate rewards for their efforts. It's Titanfall 2. Titanfall 2 was made by the same developers as COD 4 and Modern Warfare 2, and it shows. Throughout multiple matches, you're given multiple reasons to keep on playing the game. There's the obvious weapon progression that Call of Duty is known for, as you continually unlock weapons along with getting attachments for your new ones, but there's also new kill bonus rewards along the way. Not only that, but you also have plenty of cosmetics to unlock due to the game having a price tag and not holding good cosmetics hostage under an in-game store. Meaning that if you have a cool skin, it's because you earned it. All of this sounds great. So what's stopping every company from taking this model for themselves? First of all, it's too consumer friendly. You've already scared off the suits when you mentioned earning skins for free. Secondly, it could only really fit in a game like Titanfall 2, as the weapon unlock system only really works in a game with this amount of loadout reliance. And thirdly, The free-to-play model kinda throws a monkey wrench into all of this. Almost every big multiplayer game now has adopted the free-to-play model to some extent, and it's actively making sure certain styles of games or systems cannot function. Halo Infinite is the best example of this. It's a major part of old Halo games was unlocking new armor, which is completely undermined by the free-to-play model. This continues with every other game, as the Battle Pass has made sure the reward system must be made around it, from the XP system to the reliance on getting people to grind before a new pass is gone. However, you still need the extrinsic motivation to keep people hooked on the game before they get their scheduled dopamine hit. That's where all the other feedback comes, because kids love all these flashy distractions. Just look at the success of short-form content. All dopamine, all around. Oh yeah, there's also more than one game trying to vie for your attention, and they're all free! So guess what? You gotta keep them around so they don't leave. So every game just keeps trying to use everything in their power to get your attention like your split-screening Subway servers. Alright, whose idea was this? Whatever, we need to wrap this up because this video has already derailed. Overall, with how much more games try to reward the player, it ends up doing the opposite effect and making all that feedback seem meaningless. At least for me. I generally wish we could have more reasonable rewards instead of just throwing everything at the player at once, but then again, this might be a me problem. And anyway, does this even matter all too much? Not really. If you like Fortnite, go ahead. I'm not gonna stop you just because the XP gain can be obnoxious. But every once in a while, when I see a new Valorant skin with the dumbest kill effect possible, it just makes me wonder, how did we get here, and how do I build a nuclear bomb? Thanks for watching, tell me what you think, and I'll see you in the next one. Now get out of here.